listening to The Bradshaw Boys, a podcast where three relatively grown men binge the iconic HBO series Sex and the City. So dust off those DVDs and grab yourself a white wine or even a Cosmopolitan and settle in. Take it away, boys.
Welcome to the Bradshaw Boys, a podcast where three guys are watching romantic comedies. I'm Cory Cavin.
I'm Kevin, like Cher.
What?
One name.
My name's Jon Sieber, and I'm excited to be here tonight.
Yeah.
I'm very excited.
We're the Roberts
Renegades.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, what up, you two? Roberts Renegades coming at you. What are we doing tonight?
We're on a new journey.
Yeah, we are going to a wedding tonight.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to a wedding.
Is it my big fat Greek one?
It's not that. We've already been to that wedding.
Is it one that
Fucking
I'm
stinky spanakopita
planning? Wedding?
feta.
What's the Adam Sandler
eating.
movie? Wedding? Is it a singer?
It's not the wedding singer, no.
41st dates.
Are we crashing weddings?
Nope.
What are we doing at this wedding?
Is it is there a funeral involved? Are there three other weddings and a funeral involved?
No. Keep guessing.
Is Margot at this wedding?
Who's Margot?
Nope, not that one.
Is it a soup that has those little Italian sausages in there?
Italian wedding soup?
Yeah.
That's the movie we're watching.
That's
We're just going to watch someone cook Italian wedding
Emerald Ghazi.
on YouTube.
Yeah.
Romantic.
We're going to my best friend's wedding. We're going to my best friend's wedding. Yeah.
Who's seen my best friend's wedding?
I've never seen it.
Kevin?
I have not.
Virgin Eyes. Virgin Eyes across the board. I've never seen this movie either.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I just saw it. I think it was like the 20th or 25th anniversary.
Wait, so you saw it?
No, there's a bunch of articles about it like 2 months ago or 3 months ago. And I remember at the time I was like, I did not realize it was that iconic or that like,
yeah.
I remember, I mean, obviously then I look at the poster and I'm like, oh yeah, I've seen that poster forever.
Yeah, I don't even know. I know nothing about this movie. That's going to be a theme here, folks.
I know that Rupert Everett is in it.
Who is Rupert Everett?
He is Hugh Grant light. Diet Hugh Grant.
Okay.
Dude, what a great name.
Rupert. He's
Sounds
British?
like a professor at Hogwarts.
Rupert Everett.
Yeah.
He's British, right?
Yes.
It's a very British name.
Yes. Rupert Everett.
Rupert Everett.
Yeah, he sounds like the new Defense Against the Dark Arts professor at Hogwarts.
Also, the other person that's in this is Dermot Mulroney.
Once again, Hogwarts
Fucking-
professor.
He's American, though. Dermot Mulroney. He went to, I know that he went to, I think he went to Northwestern University.
Oh,
which is the same
Evanston,
school.
Illinois.
Yeah. Evanston, Illinois.
Shout out.
Also,
Shout out to-
where Seth Meyers and Stephen Colbert, a bunch of like comedy people went to college there.
It's where Sandy Sieber went to high school.
Your mom?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
She was a wild kit.
Cat?
Wild Cat is Evanston or Northwestern. Wild Kit is Evanston High School.
Like they're kittens?
Yeah, like, you know.
Dermot Mulroney was in Young Guns. I just realized that.
I mean, what a stupid name when there's someone named Dylan McDermott out there.
It's true. Also, Cameron Diaz is in this movie.
What?
Cameron Diaz is in this movie. Yeah, totally.
Okay.
Wait, are we watching The Mask?
I wish. I wish we were watching.
The Mask is awesome.
Yeah.
Is that a romantic comedy?
Kind of.
You know what's crazy is, okay, this movie is directed by P.J. Hogan.
Mm-hmm.
The movie he directed before this was Muriel's Wedding. And then he directed My Best Friend's Wedding.
Which was, so what year did this movie come out?
This movie came out in 1997.
And then he directed Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
Is that true?
No, I mean.
Okay.
So 1997. So it was just it was the 25th anniversary.
Yeah, we just had the 25th anniversary of this movie. Yeah, that's true.
Damn. That's crazy.
Yeah, totally.
What is the wedding? What is this movie about? What are we guessing?
I think it's about going to the wedding of your best friend and like kind of an always a bridesmaid, never a bride. That's my, without really knowing much about it before the watch. That's what I'm thinking.
Cameron Diaz is her best friend and Julia Roberts is always the bridesmaid, never the bride?
Well, I feel like even though they're both like 11s, I feel like it's probably like Cameron Diaz is like the hot friend.
Best friend.
And Julia Roberts is like cute, even though, and like can't find a man or something.
So it's Julia Roberts' wedding. Cameron Diaz is the like maid of honor, or something like that, who falls in love with.
No, I'm saying it's Cameron Diaz's wedding, and Julia Roberts is like the cute best friend who like can't land someone.
And then does she fall in love with Cameron Diaz's spouse?
Yeah, that's what I think.
Okay.
And then it's like, do I tell him or not?
Yeah, I had just thought it was like, I don't know what I thought it was. I'd only gotten as far as like, it's my best friend's wedding. I'm losing a best friend. Like, that's kind of what I thought.
Oh, that's good.
That's like when I think like, oh, my best friend's wedding, like I'm not getting married and now I'm losing the one person that I really like.
I remember you guys sharing that with me when I got married. That you guys were losing me as a friend.
Yeah. I was so pissed at Katie. I was like, I went all the way to Kentucky and I was so pissed at you that I drank whiskey at your wedding. John had a great whiskey tasting thing.
Didn't even taste any of the whiskey.
Yeah. I tasted all 4 of them.
Oh, I forgot about that part.
Yeah.
You also, well, you're wearing a shirt that's from your wedding, sort of.
This is literally, this is where we got married.
Lost River Cave in Kentucky. Yeah.
Bowling Green, Kentucky.
Yeah.
Wait,
Established 1792.
I have you can't establish a cave. The cave would be pissed. They'd be like, we've been here longer than that, bitch.
This is thousands of years of erosion.
Look at the fucking stalactite and tell me this is from 1792.
How do you remember that a stalactite hangs from the ceiling?
I didn't know.
I always thought it was like tight top.
It holds on tight to the ceiling, or else it'll fall.
What about the mite from the ground?
Don't know.
You might trip on it.
Yeah, you might.
Yeah.
You might impale yourself.
Yeah,
if you fall on it.
You might trip and die. Yeah.
Corey, how much money are we talking with this movie?
Let me look it up. Let's see. Sorry, it sounded like I was annoyed. I was not annoyed. I was just like,
do you know what's going to be funny about like with the new way that analytics work?
Mm-hmm. Wow.
That there used to be a very much like budget return on investment that like everyone talked about. Like it was normal. For some reason, it was normal coffee talk for everyone to just be like, yeah, that made this much. Like, it's just weird that we're so obsessed with box office.
Do you think that's because we like if we saw the movie, we contributed to its success?
Well, you paid for a ticket.
Yeah.
So you were was this movie worth my money to go pay to see?
But like your question is like, why are we so obsessed with it? Or were we? We still are.
We are, but now like The Power of the Dog, they made for $50 million, but it's only on Netflix and the box office didn't matter.
Right.
So now all of the box office returns are not exactly what they are because Apple spends tons of money and then hopefully it's to grow subscribers. Mm-hmm. It's, so it is funny that we can look at this and be like, this movie was worth $40 million and it made 192.
Right.
And that's a thing that it will, is a bit of a thing of the past.
Yeah. It's a different thing now because it's like, what is any media worth anymore at all? Like that's a tough thing.
Like and subscribe.
Yeah, exactly. By the way, it's a free podcast. So like and subscribe.
Lie
or don't.
It's not true. We're watching Pretty Women on our Patreon. So go there.
Pretty Women. It's the sequel to Little Women, but they're all pretty. Pretty Women.
Is this our Patreon?
No, this is our main feed. We're Pretty Woman.
Pretty Woman.
Patreon.
Oh yeah, Pretty Women is just
Pretty Women is the porn version of Pretty Woman.
It's all of the March sisters except for Joe, that ugly dog.
All right, the numbers.
Except for Beth, that fucking sick idiot. Shut up, Beth. All right, go ahead.
Glad we
keep going. Keep going.
No, keep going.
Those are the only 2 I remember.
Well, it does.
Amy, you fucking hot married lady.
What are the guys' names?
Rupert Everett. Okay.
All right. Budget, $38 million.
Man,
pretty huge budget, especially pretty huge budget today. But back then, talking 25 years ago, that was a lot more money. Box office, $299.3 million. Almost $300 million.
That's called a fucking ROI.
Yeah, totally.
That's good ROI.
Yeah, totally.
You say really great.
ROI. Man, it's a good movie.
It's kind of like a Pittsburgh accent, right?
Yeah. Yin's got to see my best friend's wedding. Oh my God. Cameron Diaz.
It's got good art.
It's like almost going into an Irish accent.
I think that's where they settled. No, I think it's Dutch. I don't know. But yeah, Pittsburgh, when you go to a gas station in Pittsburgh on the outskirts, you're like, what the fuck are you saying? But that is this was a hit.
That's
huge
wild.
hit.
What were movies making back then?
Not 300 million, I bet.
Jeez.
I mean, no, let's look up here. Keep the banter going real quick. I'll look up the
top movies of the year.
Films of highest.
Is that Saving Private Ryan? What was that year?
How did we get a piece of that right now?
We got to text Roberts.
All right. Highest grossing films of
1997.
Men in Black.
Ooh.
How much was that?
See, this is weird because
the good guy.
Let's go to Box Office Mojo.
What?
Oh, okay. Hold on.
So
that's
is Men in Black a rom-com? Can we find an excuse to watch that?
I think so. Sugar and water.
These numbers are off because this is the
fucking bullshit.
Box Office Mojo is saying total gross is 127.
Hey,
we want worldwide. This podcast is worldwide.
Yeah, I know.
Box Office Mojo, you got to get your shit together.
But we also can do just the top. We don't need to do the numbers. We can just see the top movies.
Okay, top films in 97. Here we go. Highest grossing films in 97.
Wow.
Lord, what a year. Liar, Liar. I'm just going to start off with that one. As Good as It Gets.
Okay.
Men in Black. The Lost World. Titanic.
Jeez.
The Fifth Element. The Full Monty.
What?
As Good as It Gets made $300 million? That's fucking crazy.
Yeah. Air Force One, get off my plane.
I love that movie.
Great movie.
Solid premise.
I mean, Titanic became the first movie in history to pass 1 billion at the box office. 1 billion.
How many times did you all see Titanic in the theater?
4.
4?
Yeah.
Once.
Really?
Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it other times on video. But
that's like that one movie where everyone our age saw it so many times. A bunch
of times because it was PG-13.
So many times.
Yeah. Titanic will be an epic podcast for us. That'll be really fun.
Yeah.
Dude,
it'll be so funny. We're going to do one entire hour podcast about the guy that hits the propeller.
Hell yeah. We need to get the guy who did the sound effect for that.
Yeah.
And be like, what was it? Was it like a bag of flour? Was it a pillow against the wall?
Yeah. When I saw what James wanted, right, was kind of skull against metal. And I said, all right, I'll get you skull, get you metal, get you sound.
I lined up 10 chimpanzees.
Yeah.
And I took chairs from a wrestling arena. One by one, I bashed their heads.
They were already dead. I killed them, but they were already dead.
You're telling me we can experiment with shampoos and conditioners, but I can't bash monkeys' heads against chairs for sound effects?
Interesting. I guess you don't respect Foley artists. That's just crazy how big this movie was. That because a movie like this, or As Good as It Gets, great movie, would just be such small little films now.
A movie,
it's I think like this, like just a rom-com.
Yeah.
There's not a world in which it makes $300 million, like on par with
what is like the biggest
this movie now would be called Marvel's Wedding.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's just the Marvel wedding.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like all the Marvel people going to a wedding together.
Or I would say
I'd watch that. I'm not even a huge Marvel fan, but I'd watch a wedding.
It's not a rom-com, but I feel like the most successful romantic thing as of late would be that Irish Hulu show.
What about
Normal People?
Normal People.
Crazy Rich Asians?
Yeah,
that was huge.
Crazy Rich Asians, I think that
was a rom-com, right?
That was a rom-com.
And they turned down streaming. They turned down like more money at Netflix to be like, we want this to be a traditional release.
Nice.
Yeah.
I saw it in the movie theaters.
Well,
should we watch?
Let's watch this.
Let's watch Our Best Friend's Wedding.
My best friend's wedding.
Dermot Mulroney.
All right. Bye.
My Best Friend's Wedding, directed by P.J. Hogan. childhood friends Julianne Potter, played by Julia Roberts, and Michael O'Neill, played by Dermot Mulroney, had a deal to marry each other if they were still single by age 28. Now, 4 days before her 28th birthday, O'Neill announces he's marrying a gorgeous 20-year-old named Kimberly, played by Cameron Diaz. Suddenly realizing she's actually in love with him, Julianne vows to stop the wedding at all costs. However, when she is appointed maid of honor, things get even more complex. And now, back to the boys.
Hey, John, you're a busy guy, right?
Cory, I consider myself a fairly busy guy with a new baby here and a hit podcast like X, Y, and Me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you are on X, Y, and Me multiple times in the morning, but you still want to eat, and you still want to eat good food, right?
You have to eat.
You got to eat good food, and that's why something like HelloFresh is so good and so convenient. You know, when you're with your co-host Carrie, Che Diaz, and whatever character Bobby Lee plays, you got to have something like HelloFresh, you know?
I'll tell you why I like HelloFresh. It's the pre-portioned ingredients. You know, like when you have like a really weird, like a star anise, and you don't want to buy like a large gallon-sized bottle of spice.
Nobody needs that.
HelloFresh sends you pre-portioned ingredients to your door, including farm fresh produce that arrives within a week. So you get all the convenience of delicious groceries without skimping on quality.
And we're also not just talking about boring food. We're talking about timeless classics and new hits. Things like a beef tenderloin and cheese fondue, a delicious meal that I'm sure Carrie was eating in Paris after she dumped Big's ashes off that bridge. I'm talking about miso shrimp and bacon ramen. Two great tastes that taste great together, all from HelloFresh. So go to HelloFresh.com/BradshawBoys16 and use the code BradshawBoys16 for up to 16 free meals and 3 free gifts. That's BradshawBoys16 for up to 16 free meals and 3 free gifts from HelloFresh.
That's right. HelloFresh is America's #1 meal kit.
Hello, taters. Later, taters.
Welcome back.
We were off.
We were a little bit wrong.
We had like the pieces kind of right.
In that Cameron Diaz is in it.
Yes.
And Julia Roberts is in it.
And there's a best friend.
And Dylan McRooney's in it.
Yeah.
Dermy McRooney.
Darmon McDermott.
Rupert Murdoch is in it.
If you would have told me that that the third of what we would have watched would have taken place at a professional baseball game, I'd have been like, no way.
Yeah.
No fucking way that's happening in this movie.
Yeah.
I was wrong.
Yeah.
We were wrong. Okay?
That's what they did. They got everyone to be like, they're like, we gotta get dates like this. That's to make the guy happy, right?
Yeah.
And then I bet there was on ESPN or on like they advertised on
Frank Thomas mentioned in this hot romantic comedy.
Babe, I gotta take you to this movie. It's called My Best Friend's Wedding. It's about baseball.
It's about the Sox. My favorite part is when he's meeting like her dad's friends, or they're in the box at the Sox game.
Yeah.
And he's like, Harry and Clive, they work for Sport magazine.
Dude, I know. That was like, so that was such a like Aiden Sex in the City.
Yeah.
I work for furniture store.
Dude, Sport magazine.
That's a real magazine.
Sport magazine is?
No, Sporting News was.
That's so different than that. You were like, it's a real magazine. Sorry, Sporting News, the newspaper.
No, Sport magazine was created.
I'll look it up.
by Jay Gatsby. Hey, Sport.
Hey.
Didn't he call everyone Sport, or was that Nick Carraway?
No, that was.
Hey, Sport.
That's in Great Gatsby. Nick, Sport, fetch the car. Come out to
so
East
good.
Egg.
I mean,
Oh my gosh, it's a real magazine. Sport,
What?
U.S. Magazine was an American sports magazine launched in 1946. Final issue, August 2000.
Dude.
It was a real magazine that
You think we can bring it back?
Predated the launch of Sports Illustrated by 8 years.
Yeah.
wow.
Sport. Good for Sports Illustrated for being like, someone's already doing this, but we're going to do it better.
Yeah, totally.
I bet they tricked everyone when they saw Sports Illustrated. Like, holy shit, it's Sport magazine, but there's pictures now. And then Sport's like, we have pictures too. Well, put it in the fucking title.
Okay. let's get into what this movie was. We got Julia Roberts. Is she a food critic or like a food writer?
She seems like a restaurant critic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would she work for Bon Appetit if she were around today?
But maybe, possibly. I feel like they're setting her up to be something more like a smaller newspaper than the New York Times food critic.
Okay.
Or maybe she would work for like New York Magazine.
She'd work for food.
Those
She worked for
people
She worked for Spork.
Yeah.
I worked for Spork magazine.
That chef was very nervous to have her in his restaurant.
I will say this, from what I know about food critics, it usually doesn't happen where the entire kitchen looks through the window and then the food critic announces their rating at the table after their first bite. Oftentimes, and this is true from what I've heard, like a lot of times food critics would like wear wigs.
Would they wear like those glasses with the mustache?
But yes, they do wear Groucho Marx glasses.
Yeah.
But like they go, like they're not, they try to go unannounced because they want.
Which one wears wigs?
I'd heard Pete Wells.
Loser.
I'd heard that like Pete Wells.
That's so funny.
I'm gonna look it up.
Babe, I have to put my wig on.
Or like fake noses or whatever.
That's hilarious. That is just so funny because it's like, I mean, I'm sure they can have all the justification in the world, but it's like, that's a little bit of self-importance there. That's like, I got to put my fake nose on.
Well, they're just trying to have the authentic experience. They're trying to blend in.
I mean, that's so funny.
When I was a waiter, we had this thing called Secret Shopper. And like,
oh yeah,
they would fill in. You had to like hit like the 15 points of the Secret Shopper. You had to like bring someone chips and salsa within 90 seconds of them sitting down. And if you missed, you got like reprimanded.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong, but it says Ruth Reichel used to wear giant floppy hats to like cover her face.
Like the ones with Pluto ears hanging down that you get at Disney?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
I got my hat in the soup.
So
in Mrs. Doubtfire, they were like, the original draft was all exactly the same, but instead of them, Robin Williams dressing up because he got divorced, it was just he's a food critic.
Food critic.
And that was it. Oh, hello. I'm Pete Wells.
I heard Pete Davidson did a joke about how he hopes that Kanye does a Mrs. Doubtfire thing. Just shows up. Anyway. So Roberts is a food critic. She's out with her best gay friend out in town, and she gets a message from her best friend saying that he needs to talk to her immediately. He's desperate. Doesn't matter what time. He's in Chicago at the Drake Hotel. And she tells a story about how they dated. She was madly in love with him. And they made a blood pact that they were going to get married if they both turned 28 without being married.
Yep.
So she's still very much in love with him. She calls him thinking that like this is going to be them getting married. She finds out he is actually engaged to Cameron Diaz's character, and their wedding is going to be in like 3 days.
Yeah.
He needs her to come to the wedding and be with him at that wedding.
Right.
And so Julia Roberts, is the best friend to the groom.
Not what I expected.
Not the bride.
And that is some conflict.
For real.
Ooh. So she shows up to Chicago with the sole intention of destroying this marriage, exploding it before it happens. Cameron Diaz's character is like this perfect college student whose dad is a billionaire owner of the White Sox. Mm-hmm. And she's got her cousins, her foul-mouthed Southern cousins in town, her mother in town, and it's kind of like meeting the family. But Julia Roberts is a spy. She is a Cylon. Is that from Battlestar Galactica?
I'm not sure.
Here to destroy their relationship.
Yeah.
Because she wants to marry him?
Yes.
I think from the beginning, it's shown, at least I picked up that like once they have this phone call, she's kind of like, oh yeah, well, what about this girl? And then he's just like, I've fallen for her. She's amazing. And then that's when she's like, you're getting married. And that's when she tries to sit down on the bed and comically falls off the bed. It was like, ooh.
Yeah.
And then it's that, that's why I was surprised. I was like, oh, And then she tells her friend as she's walking through the airport, when she tells Rupert Murdoch, her friend, like, I've got to go break up this wedding. I've got 3 days to break up a wedding. So she's like on a mission to do it, which I was very surprised by. I didn't realize that's what the movie was about.
And so Cameron Diaz asks her to be the maid of honor because I forgot why her other friend can't.
Well, she's like, he's so important to me that like, I want you to be there because you're his.
I thought something happened to her friend. Did her friend?
Her friend got diagnosed with
what?
Cancer.
With what? Okay.
And she's like, I'm getting married. I don't have time to sit by the freaking give her chemo. I got to marry Rupert Grint.
Wait, she's marrying the
Dermot Dylan McDonald.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know what happened to her friend.
So Julia Roberts goes to the White Sox game, and like she's like the belle of the ball. All the men love her. Her friend's dad is obsessed with her. Her friend's brother is obsessed with her. She's got moves you've never seen. That's a quote I've heard before.
I've got moves you've never seen. You're right.
Yeah, and then
you're right. I feel like that's been in like an Oscar, like beloved movies like thing. Julia Roberts being like, I got moves you've never seen.
And then they go karaoke, and she's just trying to like these little tricks to try to split that relationship up. So she's almost kind of like the antagonist a little bit.
Yeah.
And then where we ended is after making Cameron Diaz sing karaoke and embarrass herself, she convinces Cameron Diaz to essentially get her father to offer him a job. And Julia Roberts was hoping that it would appear like she's not satisfied with the work and the job that homeboy does at Sport magazine.
And it's also a flip because she's like, she wants to undermine to make it look like Cameron Diaz isn't satisfied with his job. And also he really likes his job, but she told Cameron Diaz he hates his job. So get him, but he won't tell you that. So get him off the road. So she's trying to like play both sides and play them against each other.
Luckily, no one at this table has experience with fiancés not approving of the job that we were doing.
That's true.
Yeah. Because that would cut pretty deep if we...
Welcome to Personal Moment with Kevin. I related... No.
No, but I told you. You told me. I mentioned it right away when we were... I was like, oh shit, that's like... Yeah. Did that hit? Why don't you tell everyone...
Well,
if you want to get vulnerable,
also you guys should watch the 30-year-old virgin on Amazon, because I believe you talk about it in that.
Yeah.
Kevin's comedy special.
Yeah.
Then watch the 40-year-old version.
And then watch the 40-year-old version with Steve Carell, also on Amazon Prime.
And then watch the 30-year-old version.
Yes, that's right.
Or the 40-year-old version. It's just a Netflix movie.
And then watch the 60-year-old fuckboy, a new movie that I'm producing with Rupert Everett.
And there's a great new sushi documentary called The 30-Year-Old Urchin that Hulu put together. It's with the Hero Dreams of Sushi guy.
Yeah, I got spikes, but I'm 30.
Okay. I taste like iron.
Don't eat my reproductive parts.
So, we'll...
And that was Personal Moment with Kevin.
I've never touched the button before. Holy shit.
It's fun, right?
Fun.
Yeah. What'd you guys think?
All right, go ahead.
Well, I do think it touches at... I do think it touches something that this feels like more like traditional, like girls like this and guys like this. But there is something like pretty fundamental to like men in their work. So his reaction did kind of make sense because he was fucking pissed, and it like got to his like worth, that was like, it was like, you don't, and yeah,
will you share what happened in your experience?
Well, mine was basically about a month, maybe like 8 weeks before our wedding. My ex-fiance was basically like, you have to stop acting and doing comedy, and you have to get like a corporate job. And not you have to. She's like, well, yeah, basically you have to. But it was basically like, you can get these like corporate job, And it can be like a fun one where you like still get to have fun and be like, use your personality, which that to me,
Everyone needs someone to make them laugh at the water cooler.
no, I'm not kidding. It was that sounds like comedic. That's exactly what it was. She's like, there's tons of jobs like that use your personality and like even get to do like the slideshow and stuff and get to do like PowerPoints and present and all this stuff. And I would rather.
Could you imagine if you were like working at KPMG right now and just like
and
doing stand up with the slideshow?
Oh my gosh.
That's
Just funny background Zoom guy.
yeah. And just like have a thing that's like see if there's like a little line you can cross with the clients.
Man,
That's
I
like,
would love.
I'm just playing.
I would love to watch you. If you were in a corporate job, you would get dragged to HR first day.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Yeah.
And Kevin's not creepy. He would just you'd find the line. It wouldn't be like a Me Too thing. It would just be like, your meme would be of like the naked dude's dong hanging out, and they'd be like, Kevin, we can't send naked pictures of men on the company email.
When I hear about Slack channels now, I'm just like, dude, that would just be too easy. too easy. Even on our group, I've gotten reprimanded for our group emails at the job I'm at now, which is like, yeah. But yeah, so I definitely could relate to that because I've always wanted to work at comedy magazine. But no, it was, I could relate to it and I could understand the, when you said you're like, get ready, you're like, there's like a major Kevin Doyle thing here. And I was like, oh yeah. So I do, but then also when we went to therapy before breaking up, the therapist was like, this is like, hey, if this is something that's important to you, like that was kind of on her, So it's like, if this was something that was important to Cameron Diaz, like stability, or whatever, then you have to work that out before your wedding.
Mm-hmm.
But now, as much as like at the time it was painful, it was like there's probably some signs that I could have picked up on that, like, this person's not going to be chill. And like, I don't know, wants to find somebody with like a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Who's fucking boring.
Yeah.
Or that just has a stable job.
Yeah. Let's park ourselves in the airport for a little bit. Pre 2001 movies at the airport have such a different feel than what the airport is now.
Yeah.
When people were waiting outside the gate and you were meeting people and hugging people, those were the days.
Dude, I had friends in high school that, like, when high school kids, you just like drive around and go to the mall.
Yeah.
I had friends that used to go hang out at the airport.
Yeah.
They'd go hang out at the airport food court.
Yeah.
Like, it was such a different deal. And he's just walking with her. Was she smoking in the airport? She's smoking in his car. I don't think she's smoking in the airport.
Yeah, smoking in the car. And there's some smoking in one of the restaurants that they're at.
But yeah, airport, such a busier, different deal.
Mm-hmm.
No tropes of like having to go through security.
Right.
Like, you had to go, but it wasn't a thing.
You didn't need a ticket. You could
There was
just
no
show, you
TSA,
could just show
right?
your...
Wasn't there not?
Yeah, TSA was after 9/11.
TSA was after 9/11. Yeah.
There
was security.
Security, and there was a metal detector.
Yeah.
Right?
Think about how much fucking money we spend on TSA.
It's insane.
Isn't it that TSA is never
good at their jobs? I mean, that's the whole joke.
Their Instagram is pretty amazing.
Their Instagram is pretty well.
Yeah.
The whole joke of Get Out is like, ha ha ha,
Yeah, totally.
the dumb TSA agent solved it.
I've also heard
that's the whole joke. That movie.
I've also heard
That's the whole thing. That's why why he wrote it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm going to write this movie to expose.
Because of TSA.
Yeah.
I've also heard
Picked up on that one.
I've also heard that there's a thing in TSA or in Get Out that it all happened in the TSA guy's head. That was a theory that someone had about Get Out.
I feel like everyone thinks a movie happens in everyone's head.
Yeah.
Is there one where it actually happens?
Yeah.
Which one?
A few. I don't know. That and like, they're both the same person. It's like, yeah, a few movies, they're both the same person.
Mm-hmm.
But even our thing, we're like, you could justify anything to happen in character sets. Because we're like, Trey happened in Kristen Davis's head, Charlotte's head, because it's easy to do that. But that's a dumb theory. Whoever said it, shut up. No. Our theory was good. The person that said it about Get Out.
Nice.
I was going to say that TSA has never stopped a credible threat. I think that's true.
Mm.
I'm not saying it's just dog on TSA, but I think people have said it's not a great way because it's just a preventative measure that has not.
Yeah, is it like the guy
proven
at
to
Best
do
Buy
that.
who checks your receipt? Like they're not going to stop someone from actually stealing, but they're going to prevent people from
I
wanting
guess
to
it's
steal.
preventative. Yeah. Also, I do want to say if anyone is a listener of our podcast that is a TSA,
Give us a call.
Give us a call.
Yeah.
We'll have to talk to you. 'Cause
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think it's an easy job.
Tell us your thoughts on Get Out if you felt exposed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also think that TSA in New York is so intense. It's so intense. Like they'll actually yell at you. They'll just be like, put your bag up there, get in line. Like it's
Dude,
insane.
when you first, I know there's a lot of this.
What is it about the
recently.
people in New York and air travel that are so uptight?
When you first go through TSA with a baby, it's like the worst experience of your
Really?
life. Oh my gosh.
It's terrible.
Dude, it's wretched.
Well, yeah, that is. It also takes away the trope of the running at the airport. They don't. They can never get fully to the they never get fully to the gate.
Mm-hmm.
So they've had to adjust that trope in rom-coms.
And this was, they filmed it in O'Hare Airport. I love a good inside O'Hare Airport.
Because
Yeah,
you're a Chicago
You're
guy.
Chicago.
I'm a Chicago guy. Home Alone, also great Chicago airport.
One of the busiest airports in the world, right?
Yeah.
Not the busiest.
No, I think like Atlanta is bigger,
Atlanta's
busier now.
busiest. Yeah.
But yeah, a good romantic comedy set in Chicago.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
The breakup.
It's outside though, because they're Sox people.
So quick question for both of you. Why do you think, why at this point in time, because we've seen other romantic comedies set in Chicago.
Mhm.
Why Chicago? I have some theories, but why do you think these romantic comedies and movies like this are set in Chicago?
Tax rebates.
I mean, it probably has to, I don't know. I feel like the reason movies are in Chicago is because of John Hughes somehow.
Yeah, it could be.
It's just whenever someone's like, we don't want New York or LA, then they just default go there.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
I don't
What's your
have
theory?
an answer. My theory is though what you said, that they don't want New York or LA, and Chicago gives you the feel of big city, but it's more all American.
Yeah.
It's more like it's a city, but the suburb is the city, but it's also a big city. Whereas New York is such a like, you're in New York.
Mhm.
This is, and LA is there.
Yeah.
Chicago has culture, but it feels just more
Midwest.
It's Midwest.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's, we should look at the list of, because there's a lot of movies in Chicago that it always kind of has that feel that it's like,
It's like you've got the subway, but it's not the subway.
yeah.
It's the L.
Well, I feel like if you set a movie in, you may have said this, I may be repeating exactly what you're saying, but LA has like a whole list of tropes. Like we've already seen it in Pretty Woman.
Yeah.
Like you have like,
There's whores everywhere.
and you have like the skaters and like the California bros.
Yeah.
and
And
that
Clueless.
vibe.
Yeah.
Clueless
yeah,
too.
yeah.
In New York, you have like the crazy people or the busy Wall Street bro
Yeah.
or like the power business person.
Yeah.
In Chicago, you can like have the big city without wanting those things.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's like a little bit of it, like a little more of a blank slate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But the food critics there,
Mm-hmm.
you got to watch out for them because they'll
Well,
just announce you at the.
She wasn't in Chicago when she got that thing.
Yeah. Where was she?
I don't know. I think New York.
It's possibly New York. Yeah.
I feel like San Francisco is another city that's in a lot of movies because it's a beloved city, but
You're just thinking of Full House episodes.
that is true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I would like to talk about the karaoke scene.
I literally had that written down.
I would like to talk. I would like to talk about it for two reasons. One, because I want to talk about it with you. And then I think there's a very interesting plot thing that happens there.
Biggest karaoke person I know.
Yep.
By
totally.
far.
One story that I will tell about you that I might have told on this podcast one night is there was a night that you and I were going, we had been out somewhere and we were both talking about how we were tired and needed to go home. And then we walked by, it was the weekend of one of our friends, like bachelor weekends before their wedding. And we walked by a place on the Lower East Side. We had already called a cab. We were on our way to walk to the cab. And then we walked by and we saw people doing karaoke, and you just in kind of a panic went, I'm going to go in. I'll see you later, man. Hey, get some rest. And then you walked in, and then I went and got the cab that we'd ordered. And you just left and went in to sing karaoke.
Did he split the cab with you still?
No.
No.
All right. I'm going to really put you on the spot. Top 3 best karaoke songs of all time. Go. Not for you. Just you show up to a bar for anyone.
Well, Don't Stop Believin' is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I'll say that
Journey.
Yeah, I will say that Bohemian Rhapsody, like when it's done, it's fun, but I would say it's a little overdone at this point. And there's a little cockiness with like the length.
Have you ever seen anyone do the Growing Pains theme song over and over again?
Yeah. And it's awesome.
Show me that smile. Show me that smile. Don't waste another minute on your the best is ready to begin. As long as we got each other. TV songs make great karaoke, by the way.
So another one I will say that like has been removed from the list would be Sweet Caroline.
Mm-hmm.
It's great, but it's like so I'd say Don't Stop Believin' still holds up.
I would say Living on a Prayer.
Ooh,
massive karaoke song.
Yes.
All right, so what are your go-tos?
I Try, Macy Gray.
That's when I think of that song, I think of you.
And you know what? Sometimes this is the same with like stand up. You want to get like new material, but sometimes you rely on old material and you're like, man, it's already so good. I've tried to work on some new karaoke songs, and then I'm like, if I get nervous, there's a good crowd.
Mm-hmm.
I go back to Macy Gray and I'm just like, I know I'm about to hit it. I know I'm about to knock this out of the park.
Dude, it's like that woman who sang Missy Elliott.
Yes.
She just would do it like every week, 4 or 5 times a week. Is it worth it? Let me work.
What's her name?
We all know we've all seen the video.
Something white.
Yeah.
It's
Sassy White Sister.
Yeah. And then what would like the last one be? I mean, I'm a huge. Because you can get away with the length of this because there's 2 performers, so it's like 2 songs. But Paradise by the Dashboard Light.
I don't even know that song.
I think that's a little niche. I got to be honest.
No, I don't know that song.
I think it's a little niche. I think it works.
Yeah,
but I don't think it's like a top 10 standard.
I saw someone.
You and Harlan have done it together. Harlan, friend of the pod.
Yeah, I say, yeah, it's niche, but I'm talking to the karaoke heads out there. I'm not talking to everybody. You can't just have
the K-head?
Because honestly, Don't Stop Believin' is going to be a group of dumb bachelorettes that are like too drunk. I'm talking to people that are like committed to the cause.
I saw someone do It's Raining Men, Hallelujah.
That's
once,
good.
And it was one of the best performances I've ever seen.
Now, when it comes to the movie, this is one.
Paradise by the Dashboard Light is 8.5 minutes long. I think if you don't nail that, you should be banned from the bar.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just wasted a lot of people's time.
But that's why there's 2 performers, so it's like 2 4-minute songs.
No.
There's Bat Out of Hell.
It's 1 8.5 minute song for everyone waiting to get up.
If someone does is Bat Out of Hell have a girl in it too? I just like how he has his like double parts. It's so good. And also,
I think you should just I would do Anything for Love. If you're going to do a Meatloaf song, do the one that play the hits.
I would submit that over Paradise by the Dashboard Light.
Totally.
Plus, the girl doesn't come in like till the end.
Yeah.
So if you plant them in the back of the bar.
There you go.
Oh, also, this is what I would submit for a newer song. And I think this hits all the notes. One of the greatest recent songs ever made for karaoke, Stars Born, Shallow.
Oh.
Fucking murders.
Has there been a movie where the premise is 2 people who love karaoke, like a bro comedy about 2 karaoke people?
Cut this out. I wrote it and I'm pitching it now. No, I'm kidding. The reason I read a thing that was like the reason why there are not more karaoke movies, even like documentaries, because the rights, it's so expensive.
To make sure.
But I do think that would be, I mean, it would be so fucking good.
You know who had the solution to that?
Who?
OMC. How bizarre. By the rights. How bizarre. Yeah, it would be. What about the movie Sing though? Sing is essentially, Sing is, I guess.
And they could pay for it because it's a very expensive movie.
Yeah, totally.
So this is to the most unrealistic thing. At a karaoke bar, there would be no one that would shout down a person that sucked and say you suck. Multiple people are like,
True.
you suck. And it's like, that
Dude,
is,
I have been told at karaoke bars that I suck.
But did people yell at it when you were singing?
Yes.
yeah, but you're confident when you go up. She was nervous and
That's true.
Yeah,
And it was
but-
my friend Doug Kwame.
but it is the true arc. The true arc of great karaoke performance is not vocal quality, it's passion and it's heart.
The bar that you used to go to here in New York,
Yeah.
there were like people would come up with like instruments and stuff.
Yeah, I mean there were some characters there.
Good.
Didn't that guy come up with an inflatable?
And that was
instrument?
There was a
that
guy.
was the worst bar ever. There's never been a worse place.
There was
in
a
this
guy.
country.
There was a guy who would he would have an inflatable guitar, and he would hand it to
Dude.
someone in the audience, and he'd be like,
Dude.
hey, when it gets to the guitar solo, will you just toss that to me? And then he would play.
And this is in front of like 11 people.
Yeah. And he had to like go to Big Lots and get an inflatable guitar and then blow it up before and be like, and be like, this is for when I do Stevie Ray Vaughan later at the karaoke bar. And there was like a cowbell there that they would have. It was the most fun night, but whenever people brought their own stuff, there's definitely a definite sadness to it.
Yeah.
But
Although I will say, sorry, wait, finish.
No.
I have a karaoke story about a friend and I. There used to be a karaoke place in. They did karaoke at this restaurant in Charlotte, where I'm from. And before I moved to New York, my friend and I went there one night, and there were people that they were very serious about it, and we planned this thing. And we did "Beat It" by Michael Jackson, and I got up and did most of the song. I think I wore a glove, like a Michael Jackson sparkly glove.
Yeah.
But then when it got to the guitar solo, which if you're familiar with the "Beat It" music video,
great guitar solo.
yeah, great guitar solo. It's a famous guitar player. I forget, is it Eddie Van Halen?
Eddie Van Halen.
Yeah, Eddie Van Halen. But when it gets to the guitar solo in the, we mimicked what happens in the video. My friend, unannounced, busted out of the bathroom in a Michael Jackson mask, walked onto stage, tied our hands together, and we had a switchblade fight on stage.
That's awesome.
And then we finished the song together. We won the $150 karaoke prize. And the people were so pissed because every week they were really good singers and they would come and compete and the good singers would win. But we proved the rule of karaoke, like you said, that it's performance that wins.
Funky White Sister.
Funky White Sister.
Funky White Sister. That's
Funky
her-
White Sister.
She was pissed.
She was.
Well, although she's performance though. She's performance over technique.
We're gonna steer away from karaoke.
What did Cameron Diaz sing though?
I don't know.
It's I don't know what to do with myself. Is that what it is?
I just don't know what to do with myself.
Yeah.
And then what was the song at the beginning, which I thought was interesting?
We're not talking about karaoke anymore.
No, it's not karaoke. At the beginning of the film.
Oh, always a bridesmaid, never. It was like the Andrew Sisters type
Yeah,
stuff.
we never did talk about this. The intro to this movie.
Yeah.
Crazy. It's just like
It's an old beat,
It's like an old 60s music video.
yeah.
Yeah.
We got to look up what the song was.
The point that I wanted to make about it real quick though is that
Karaoke?
about the scene of karaoke.
Bro, we gotta move on from. Okay.
Here's the point. This is Julia Roberts.
Kevin's just licking his lips. He wants to keep talking.
This is Julia Roberts just hardcore setting her up for failure.
Yeah.
And this is a great moment when it starts to backfire on her. When she's like, no, don't make her sing. And then she sets her up to sing. And then it's like, this poor girl can't sing at all. And then everyone gets on her side and it makes Dermot Mulroney fall more in love with her. And Julia Roberts is like, damn it, I can't get it right.
And
I want to talk about Julia Roberts in this movie because you mentioned something, Kevin. Like people had an issue with Tom Hanks gaslighting and You've Got Mail.
Yeah.
Julia Roberts, not a fan of her in this movie, in the first
So far.
movie.
Major manipulative.
Dude.
Yeah.
She's a fucking twisted puppet master.
Probably a trash can of a food critic too.
Yeah.
She didn't have any floppy hats on. She didn't have a fake nose.
No.
She was showing up with her big smile.
Yeah.
Oh, I lost my Groucho Marx glasses. Well, then you're not a food
A
critic.
pretty angular face eating that like rare lamb.
Dude,
She's like a complete animal in this movie so far.
Totally.
Manipulative, mean, cruel. And the guy is also kind of a douche lord. Like
so hot though. Her and Mick Jagger are the two hottest people I've ever seen. They look very similar.
What?
Yeah.
Just their big mouths that look like, it looks like that their mouths are just so big, which is why they look so good. But they both have, you know, that filter on Snapchat or on Instagram that just makes the mouth look that, like that's just the Julia Roberts.
If you isolate a single feature of Julia Roberts, it's like, yeah. It's not attractive.
But then put it together.
Some of all the parts, you're like, wow, that works.
Mrs. Roberts Tato head. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. I feel kind of like icky from this premise. Like, I don't love him because of how cruel he's being to Cameron Diaz's character. Like, he's just like power flirting. When he like busted on her, Julia Roberts changing into the bridesmaid dress, and he's like, oh, I've seen you naked before. It's like,
Right.
bro, you don't act like that if you're about to get married to another woman.
Right.
Yeah.
What?
Whoa, Mr. Traditionalist. Yeah.
I mean, unless your spouse is down with that sort of thing, but and there's just something that like this doesn't feel like a romantic comedy. This just kind of feels like I don't know,
A heist.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if it's that we're in the beginning and that we've
only watched a third of it.
We should say that we've only watched the first 35
Like
minutes.
when you think romantic comedies, you think of like, at least I do, like Julia Roberts, the fun, bubbly, like do-gooder.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And she's kind of the villain so far in this movie.
Well, also, I mean, because Cameron Diaz in The Mask is like, vavoom. She's like Jessica Rabbit, you know? And so that's what I was expecting when she's at first on screen, but she's incredibly sympathetic. I think you're ready to be like, oh, and she's really nice. And she's really like, thank you so much.
Yeah.
And very accepting and open-minded to have like this knockout best friend of her husband.
Yes, totally. She's like, oh, I want you to be my maid of honor.
Yeah.
Also, she drives very fast and very
fast.
dangerously. And she's a super rich daughter.
She's like a Paris Hilton type, except
there's
but she is sympathetic. Yeah.
There's a big 1997 theme of pretty women can't drive cars between Alicia Silverstone and now Cameron Diaz.
Yeah, exactly. That's true.
We need to put up a YouTube expose on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that theme is just called sexism in films.
Yeah. I think that theme is just called truth based on my mom. It's like,
Yo, you got a crush on your mom?
this is like, I had it in my notebook and I haven't wanted to do it on stage because I don't want the audience to turn on me. But I'm like, you know, a lot of times you get your like stereotypes from culture. And I was like, but also you get them from your family. And my stereotype based on my mom is they're the fucking worst drivers of all time.
I think you should totally talk
My
about
mom's
that.
just
That's
like,
great.
my mom 2 different times has just put the car in reverse and just backed into my dad's car because she didn't look behind. And every time my mom hits a car, you can just see my dad's, he's like, just the blood drains from his face. And he's just like, I could have paid my house off 10 years ago. Like, it's fun. We'll call him in to talk about it.
Dude, the battleship? Calling the battle?
She knows how to ride a battleship, but she doesn't know how to ride a car.
Oh man, that's the one you shouldn't share on stage.
Oh,
Good Lord.
man.
Damn.
We're the Bradshaw boys.
Wow.
That was over the line.
Woke moment.
Oh yeah, we have to change the setting that it should stop when we do that.
But I think so far, I get what you're saying. This is a distasteful premise for a movie. But I'll say this again, and I've said it before with some of the other movies, but that's where conflict comes from.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what's keeping you in the room in the theater to be like, whoa, I spent $425 to see Julia Roberts charm me. She's cute, but like, I'm not a fan of her right
Weren't
now.
there like dollar theaters?
Oh, dude,
I spent $1.
Yes, there used to be dollar theaters. It
Yeah.
was amazing. It was like a
Do they still exist outside of New York? Are we just tainted?
It's possibly
'Cause,
they
like,
do
you know,
exist.
There still are.
There's probably like a $5 theater somewhere.
Man.
Write in if you go to a dollar theater. Write in though. Put a stamp on it. Lick the stamp,
The
even if it's a sticky one.
But yeah, what do you think of it, Corey? Where are you at with this movie so far?
I have to say, well, I'm with you in the sense that I'm like, it's creating some conflict that Julia Roberts, I was very surprised that from the first couple minutes, I was like, oh, we have our premise. She's in love with her best friend. He's the one that got away and she's not going to let him get away. And she is like, I'm on a mission. I got 3 days to break up a wedding.
One big like red flag I see with her is when she was like, he gave me all this attention for the past 8 years. And it's almost, I wonder where it's going.
Yeah.
I mean, are they going to end up in love?
I don't know, because she doesn't seem to like him for the right reasons.
Yeah.
You have all this time.
Yeah.
And then you're not going to act on it, but it's like, she even says in it, she was like, for 8 years, like, there's just something about it, Cameron Diaz aside, that it's like, do you love this person for who they are? Because right now, I don't think that. You have an old rapport, but, you know, lots of people have old rapports with people they date.
Yeah. I was a little curious, too, as to why the breakup story that Julia Roberts gave was like, she got restless. She was like, I can't hold down a relationship. Yeah. And so then they had a talk and they both sort of realized it, and then they kissed and they were best friends from then on.
Yeah.
So
they made the blood pact.
What was the blood pact again?
They cut each other's hands, or he cut his hand and her hand, and they shook that if they were 28 married, that they would get married.
Isn't it? Let's go back to the 28 thing. Isn't it funny? Like,
yeah.
It's funny that it was just like, man, if we make it to 28, 2 years before we die, we got to get married. What a world that we've changed. And also, the other thing we should talk about is the fact that isn't Cameron Diaz 20 and in college?
Yeah.
So Dermot Mulroney, 7 years is not I mean, like, that's not a huge thing, but at that time in your life.
Yeah, totally. If you're a 27-year-old and you're dating like a junior in college,
yeah,
there's a lot of life that happens in those years.
Yeah. Yeah. But there's a big hit the rock, Derm. No.
Is he going for Sport Magazine covering college teams and then just dating juniors? Is that what he's doing?
Yeah. He's grooming.
He is.
He's grooming hardcore.
Dermot Mulroney.
It's so interesting because none of the main characters except for Cameron Diaz are likable at all right now.
That's true.
Like I don't like these characters. No. And like the other romantic comedies we've watched, I've liked both characters.
Yeah.
From the beginning. But maybe that's what this movie's about. Maybe they don't get together. I would feel really bad for Cameron Diaz if they get together.
You don't think Cameron Diaz is likable? I feel like that's the twist of the movie now. That
she is. But like if Julia Roberts and Dormy McMurphy are, what is his name?
Dormo McMuffin.
Yeah. Mayor McCheese.
What's his name?
Dorman McMuffin.
Shut up.
Dermot Mulroney.
Okay. I can't remember that. I'm just going to go back to Dorman
McMuffin.
Dorman McStoogie.
Do you think we're going to find something out about Cameron Diaz where you're like, oh, wait a second, she's not likable?
No, she's too young. She's too young to be.
That is true, actually.
Too brutal. If they come out in the third act, then she's like a horrible person. They just can't do that.
Yeah.
And that wouldn't make...
What would it be?
That wouldn't make Julia Roberts any more likable.
What would it be? What would it be to make Cameron Diaz unlikable? What would it take? Anti-Semite? Let's just throw it out there.
Yeah. She was like, what? You don't want your boss to be my job? You work at a magazine. That's the media. Do you know who your boss is now? And he's like, what the fuck?
Whoa, hang on.
Whoa. She's like, listen.
I did not see that coming.
She's just like hardcore.
She's like, do you like my dress? And it's just a KKK outfit.
And you're like, whoa.
Okay.
You know that happens to people. That has to happen.
Oh, that's got to happen.
Probably.
That you're like dating for a while and then you find out someone's like horribly racist.
You guys, well, it's not a racist thing, but like, I mean, spoiler alert.
But my girlfriend.
But you're just talking. Exactly. It's not a racist thing. However, I mean, spoiler alert if you haven't seen White Lotus. Turn the podcast off.
Oh yeah.
But like, there's a whole plot line about being like, who did I marry?
Yeah.
And you have to make the choice. Like, am I going to stay with this person or not?
No.
You're not going to stay with them?
If I got married to Katie and she was like horribly racist, I'd be like, peace, I'm out of here.
And you find out on the honeymoon.
Yeah.
Would you get an annulment?
Yeah.
I need to share with you some texts that Katie sent me before you guys met.
Katie sends Katie.
I mean, I think like at that point,
you know that frog tattoo is Pepe on her back.
it's different. Like, I mean, I don't know. It's like we've been married for 7 years now. We have a kid. So like, I'd be like, yo, you need to see counseling right now and figure this shit out.
Right.
But if you're like, I don't know, 2 days into your wedding and it comes out that they have like the Grand Dragon and the KKK, you're like, fuck, no, you tricked me. I'm out.
Wizard,
whatever.
What is Grand Dragon? Is that a chess thing?
I don't know. It's a Chinese restaurant, Grand Dragon.
I think it is.
Yeah, no, I don't think they're going to do that with her, but yeah, there's lots of ways you could make, I mean, you could, she's so likable at this point. You could find out that maybe she's still, I think this is what's going to happen. I think that she will on her own volition remove herself from the relationship and find out it's not what she wants. Because
because then it doesn't make Julia Roberts' character, like it doesn't redeem her who she is now. She has to go through a redemptive arc because right now she's a shithead.
I like where we're at in this podcast because we need to figure out what happens in the movie. And I don't necessarily, we haven't been at this place yet.
Yeah.
That it's like, we want it to go on. This is like, we need it to go on to figure out how you square the circle that we're in right now.
Yeah.
You know?
Totally. Yeah. So I guess it's a good conflict.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why they made 300 million.
Yeah. 300 mil on Darman McDuder.
But
right.
we're going to be watching the second part of my best friend's wedding in the next podcast.
Yep.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Check out our Patreon to hear Pretty Woman.
Come on.
Pretty Woman, get on the Patreon. Absolutely. And also, we stopped at minute 35. So if you want to follow along with us, watch the movie. We're watching them like TV shows because we wouldn't have this conversation at all.
That's true.
That's true.
You know?
Kevin also on Patreon is going to record he's going to record Macy Gray's
you should absolutely do that.
Yeah, put it up there.
100%.
Do you have a video of it? Just put it on the Patreon.
Yeah, I will.
Cool.
And if not, let's just do it in this room.
We should totally do that.
This camera.
Games, changes, and fears.
Should we do like a Zoom karaoke podcast sometime?
100%.
Great.
Yeah.
Everyone knows I'm coming with Growing Pains theme song. I'm coming with perfect rise and fall
Perfect Strangers.
on the wings of my dreams. Standing. I don't know the lyrics. So good though.
I'm dreaming of you. Sing it out there with us. But I'm dreaming of you, but I keep my cool. My way feeling.
All right.
I try.
Later, taters.
The Bradshaw Boys stars Cory Cavin, Kevin James Doyle, and Jon Sieber. The show is produced by me, Jeremy Balon, and narrated by Katie Sieber. This podcast is part of the Seltzer Kings Network. Check out all their great podcasts at seltzerkings.com. You can find the boys on their socials at The Bradshaw Boys or on their website at thebradshawboys.com. And as always, if you see them in the street, tip your glass. Thanks for listening.